Now the only change that I've made here is that I put washers underneath this just to raise this up about 1/8 of an inch, so that when I move it forward it more or less comes in a center line with the edge of the wheel here. In other words, it's going to be pushing it in maybe just slightly more square than it otherwise would have. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pressure fit these in. And now I know that it's going to be a little bit proud, like the piece I'm inserting is going to be a little bit proud of the edge of the wheel on both sides by about 1/32 of an inch, because this piece is 3/4 of an inch. This wheel is a metric 3/4, which is actually less. That's how the lumber yard makes extra money. You ask them for 3/4 inch and they'll sell you this, and then when you complain about it, they'll say, oh, it's the metric measurements. Yeah, okay. So I think what I'll do is I'll just pressure fit these in, and then later go around and put a drop of CA glue, 1 drop on this side and 1 drop on this side, CA thin, and I think that'll be good, rather than try and glue each one individually in right now. So anyway, now which way will be the easiest to go? Maybe it'd be easier to move this way. Yeah. Alright, we'll go in this direction. So that means that we have to pull our pin out and put our little brace in at the back. That's not a problem. Okay, let's get at it. It's going to be slow and meticulous, but you know, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. Now clearly I've put that pin back in its place, but there's a good reason for it. Now I think the best thing to do here is I'll just run this up to the same position it is with the pin, and then I'll just back it off about 1/8 of an inch and tighten it there. That should be alright. Now we can take the peg out again, and we should be able to move this back to the stop that we just reset. So that's as far as it'll go. Alright. Now some of these, as I mentioned before, are a little bit on the skinny side, and they may have a tendency to not want to go in there very good. Okay, now get it just right. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. You know what I can do, if I find, before I actually do the CA glue thing, that if one is sticking up too much or down too much, I can just, you know, sort of tap it in the right direction. Now here's one that's loose. It's a little bit loose. I didn't even need to use this thing. I wonder, it could possibly fall out of there. Well, you know what? I think I'll leave it. And then when I do the CA glue thing, I'll just double check each one, because if I was to accidentally bump it, well, I can see where to get crooked on me. Anyway, continue on here. That was a nice tight fit. Oh, that one was a little bit too low. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, we are now at the place where I can probably use the pin again. So I'll bring it back, and we'll get the pin in place. And there's the one that's kind of loose again. Get it down. Some of these cut in a rather wedge shaped, as well as being sort of thick, they're kind of wedge shaped. So anyway, I think you get the idea. You don't want to be watching this for another hour. Oh, here's a real thin one. You know what? I think that one's just too thin. Here's another thin one. Hope I'm not going to run into too many like that. Yeah, some of these are pretty loose. I might have to think of a different way of doing this. I wonder if maybe this crack is loose. Is that possible? Yeah, I wonder possibly when I saw it. This one's tight. Okay, so this one's going to have to be done separately when I do the CA glue thing. That's not good. Hope I don't run into too many like that. Unless I can find a really wide one here. Well, this one's a little better, but it's still pretty loose. Anyway, you get the idea.